Okay. First thing I want to do with Esme, because she comes out and she's explosive to work. Now, with a lot of dogs, I want to explode when I bring them out to work. I want to show them rather that this is going to be a fun, exciting time. She's got too much explosivity as it is. That's part of what drives the separation anxiety. So I want her to come out in a more controlled way. We'll have time to explode later, but I don't want her linking it with coming out of her kennel, because that will translate into coming out of her crate at home. So at this point now, she's chill, and that's what I like. That's me. Tess. Now she's been here. She's been here for 4 days, and we're bonding. I'm her person. I'm the surrogate to what the owner would be. And now that she's bonded to me, for me to leave her on place, you see, the dog wants to be near me. The dog wants to be near me, and I have to make sure that she stays on her place. People go out into the weeds when they start talking about correction and negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement does not have to be traumatic. It should not be traumatic for the dog. I make sure that corrections are delivered in a factual way. And what that means is it's like you're on a game show, and if you give a right answer, there's a high-pitched ding, and if you give a wrong answer, it's a bzz, try again. So my corrections are exactly that. It's not personal. I'm not upset with the dog. There's no emotion attached to it. I'm delivering factual information to the dog. This doesn't work. This doesn't work. Let's go back and do what works. And over time, the dog does more of what works and less of what doesn't, as long as I've done my job in explaining that to the dog. Because she's very, very driven by separation anxiety, I have to modulate the feedback I give her. Of course, I want to give the dog lots of positive feedback, but I've got to be careful to not make it too big, because the dog with separation anxiety is always living on the edge a little bit in terms of when we start doing stuff like this and I distance myself. When she's going to be on place, let's say next week, and I'm sitting over at the counter, eating my lunch, interacting with other people, interacting with dogs, that's going to pick at her nerves. So I've got to modulate what I do with her to not compound what's already going on. I want her to de-stress over time. I want her to acclimate. I don't want to drive the thermometer up inside the dog. Oh, you're so nice. You're so nice. You're so nice. Yes, man. Such a... So I don't know, I'm not wearing a microphone today. I don't know if you can hear how softly I talk to her, and I'm praising her. I'm giving her that feedback, and I'm doing it in a very muted kind of way. Yeah, okay. So I come back and give the dog feedback, which of course serves to reinforce what the dog is doing, to let her know she's getting paid for this. And then at the same time, when I walk away, the dog is now giving me feedback. I can see her in my phone screen. She's staying on. So that's good. There's a little bit of this going on. When I go back, she gets high with me, and we have a moment, and then I walk away, and then she's having a bit of a low, and she has to navigate that. And life is full of those ups and downs, and what I'm trying to ultimately do with the dog is stabilize her. What? Someone walking by the building, and she's keeping an eye on them. Good dog. She's good. She's a good girl. Dogs that have separation anxiety make big deals out of little things. You know the expression, make a mountain out of a molehill. That's exactly separation anxiety. You go to put out the recycling, dog says, I can't breathe. I'll have a heart attack until you get back. God forbid you go out for a couple of hours or you go to work for the day. So what I'm teaching the dog in a small way right now is connect, disconnect, and do it in a way where you're controlling yourself. Good girl. So you see, she just made a decision. We have to allow our dogs to make decisions in training. And then our job as trainers is to validate. Yes, I 1000% believe in setting a dog up for success. But once the dog has been built up to a certain point, this is 4 days into her training, I also want the dog to explore options and start to understand what works and what doesn't work. So in the beginning, I'm not dropping the leash, I'm not moving around. That would be disastrous. That would be allowing the dog to learn that stepping off is just as valid as staying on, and it's this mess. It's like just a pool of mud. What I want the dog at this point to do is to largely do it right, but occasionally when she makes mistakes, I'm there to guide her and steer her and correct her when needed. And then she learns. And she looks at the column. There's paper and there's 2 columns. I do this, it works. This, it works. This, it works. I do this, it doesn't work. This doesn't work. And then those get filtered off the list, and we just stick with what works. If we don't give the dog a chance to make mistakes, they don't explore things. And then at some point, outside of training, when you're just using your training and living life with your dog, there will invariably be moments where a dog explores things. And if we don't give them the opportunity to test all the little what-ifs, then we're going to be in for a rude awakening later on when we're living with our training. Good girl. So you see the little ups and downs that I was referring to? Look at when she stood up. Again, there was someone that walked by the building. It's got her attention. I'm moving around. I'm talking to the camera. Dog doesn't understand I'm talking to the camera. For YouTube or social media, she just hears my voice and she says, well, maybe there's something out there I need to investigate. Maybe he's talking and I need to be with him, or his talking represents that we're doing something together. So she's feeling her way through. Good girl. You see the body language just from me coming back? It helped clarify something for her. Good. Esme. Okay. Esme. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Hi. Hello. Hello. Hi, Esme. Hi, Esme. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. That's right. Yes. Good girl. Esme, okay. Hey! Oh. Oh. Wild child, huh? Esme, yes? Hi. So you see how she came right to the very edge? Wants to be close. We were playing. She's connected. Now we're going to see. This is early days, so it might be a mistake for me to take off the leash, and we'll see. Again, we want our dog to explore options and make mistakes when we are at the right juncture in training. But you also have to be well placed to help them navigate the mistakes so they don't create a pattern out of an event. An event is a once in a rare while thing. A pattern is a predictable, repeatable thing. If she is getting off in a repeated fashion without the leash, then I have clearly skipped a step that I ought not skip. And if I want to do my job well as a trainer, I need to listen to the feedback from my dog. So it's science and it's art, and you have to listen and you have to interpret and you have to understand and accept what you're seeing in front of you and know when to take a step back, when to stay where you are, when to take a step forward, or maybe several steps forward if you're having one of those wonderful days. Hey, girl. Hi. 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 So that kind of touch before was very, very exciting to her. It animates her. She wants to dance and play. And then I start doing it there and she has to control herself. So she's putting a lid on it for the time being, which is great. Great. Again, separation anxiety dogs, big and explosive. Their emotions are big. Everything feels big. They're not, I don't care, I don't mind. Like the kind of person you say, where do you want to eat? And they're like, I don't care, wherever you want to eat is fine with me. They are not that kind of person. They are not that kind of dog. They are very big, very bold in their emotions. They feel things in a big way. So for her to stifle that kind of contact.
Oh, God. Esme, viens.